Number 4 right here. See if my pen's working. Yep, we're working. The sun will not shine again unless it is not cold today. The quick comment here again. You will get this right. Probably if and only if you know that unless translates as an or. Okay. Number 5. We have an if-then where you flip the order. This happens in many cases. Again, go back to our friend page 42. We'll tell you a lot about this. The idea is that if I say if A, then B, which is A horseshoe B, that is not the same as, okay, we'll say is, if B then A. Okay, lots of examples in the book that I've talked about otherwise. The example that I was using with a couple of you that came into my office this week went like this. Think about this claim. If I'm 6 feet tall, then I'm taller than 5 feet 6 inches, which is a true claim. If instead I flip it and say if I'm taller than 5 feet 6 inches, then I'm 6 feet tall, that's a false claim. And when one's true and one's false, you can see very clearly the two claims are not the same. So the order of an if-then absolutely matters. Okay, we write if B then A is B horseshoe A. None of the other operators are order sensitive, but if then absolutely is. Now, how do we tell? We just got to look at the language, but you can also memorize some forms. In this particular case, it says Maria serves coffee at Brugger's if she lives in Ohio. So the question is, if we say M is Maria serves coffee at Brugger's and O, Maria lives in Ohio, okay, that's a little confusing here. Let's. I went with C for Maria serves coffee at Brugger's. It's not going to matter here. See the note down here. As long as you get the form right. Okay, I'm going to go back to C as Maria serves coffee. Let me emphasize at Brugger's. Now you read this straight from the book. Pretend you're doing the exercise here, and maybe you go like this. Maybe you start off with C, Maria serves coffee at Brugger's, and then you say if. And say, all right, O is going to stand for Maria lives in Ohio. Anytime you write that down, you just got to look at your two options and check. Is it as you started out, or do you flip the order? Over at the left, this says if Maria serves coffee at Brugger's, then she lives in Ohio. Over here to the right, it says if Maria lives in Ohio, then she serves coffee at Brugger's. And we just got to look at the language here. And when we say Maria serves coffee at Brugger's if she lives in Ohio, that's it. This is the correct one. Okay, anytime, here's the general rule. If I have X, if Y, for any X and for any Y, and X and Y themselves might have some operators in them. They may have some logical complexity, but we will always flip the order and translate it like that. By contrast, if I have X only if Y, always maintain the order. If and only if, let's write it up here, if I have X, if and only if Y. I alluded to this before. We just have a special operator for if and only if, so we just go like that. But that's really the same as X if Y, which is if Y then X, and X only if Y, which is if X then Y. This is just a shorthand for all of this. Okay, and then number 8, wanted to make a quick comment on. It says if the sun will shine again and it's cold today, then tomorrow will last forever. We basically just put the operators. It is a straight if then. When we ever write if blah 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 then something else, we just maintain the order. Why do the parentheses go like they do? 2 reasons. The comma tells you to group what comes before, which is S and C, from what comes after. Second, the word then tells you, okay, now I'm going to the consequent, the second part of the if-then, separate from the antecedent. So that's another part of the language here that I was talking about right here. Okay, number 9, complex claim here. We have either Kelly sees it all and monkeys fly, or the sun will shine again, comma, and if it's cold today, then tomorrow will last forever. That comma that appears in problem number 9 tells me that this group is separate from this group, and that's sort of how you should think about it. Before, just after the comma we have the word and, so you sort of start out as you're cracking the translation here. I got an and, then I got something to the left, then I got something to the right. What's going to go to the left and what's going to go to the right? All right, we have, it's the either or that tells us, we say either Kelly sees it all and monkeys fly, or the sun will shine again. I'm putting some emphasis there, but that's what either or does. And it says that the K and M get grouped together. It's because of the either or. Otherwise, I'm just putting in the operators. Okay, I do need to add the brackets here to show that all of this is grouped together, and then this is the separate unit here in terms of the logical structure. The other part is a straight if then, and so it goes. All right, hopefully that helps a little bit.